Hey guys, it's Crystal B and I am back. Today I want to talk to you about planetary stations. And I want to kind of make it fun because I know when you kind of hear that term you might be like, oh, that's boring. But planetary stations from a predictive standpoint are actually pretty darn cool. And let me explain. And maybe I'm a little bit of an astro geek because I'm always kind of, dancing in the future. But through the years, I have discovered triggers that I really, that are telltale signs of things happening. So when we look at planetary station, or literally when a planet stops for a moment and either turns direct or turns retrograde, and retrograde in this instance means going backwards, that triggers things up in the universe or things up in our personal astrology. Because when a planet stops and gets ready to turn, their essence is very, very strong. So if we go down the list of the planets that actually turn retro, because the sun and the moon do not go retrograde, they're always going direct. When we look at, let's begin with Mars. Mars is a personal planet. It's our action planet. It's the planet that gets things going. It's where our drive is. When Mars turns or stations either retrograde or stations direct, that is going to kick up energy in a way where our action gets fueled. When it's going back, action is repressed. When it's going direct, action is very strong. Now, Mars turning is very rare. It only happens every 2 years or so. So that's something you're not going to see that often. Venus, very important. And Venus retrograde especially always gets a lot of wheels turning because it's so connected to relationships. Venus only goes retrograde or turns or stations every 2 years or so. 2 years or so, the same as Mars. And when this happens, our values get triggered, our love gets triggered, our desires get triggered, all the things that Venus represents. And again, at the moment that she turns forward and back, these are very distinct triggers into things happening in our own personal astrology, as well as things just happening in a general point of view. We all know about Mercury. Everybody knows about Mercury retrograde, and it's kind of funny to me, being an astrologer, how many non-astrologers talk about Mercury retrograde now. Mercury turns forward and back, stations, as we say, approximately four times every year. We all know that Mercury retrograde means miscommunications, people not getting along sometimes, missed texts, your calendar getting messed up. Mercury can be very tricky. But again, when we look at the station, the turn forward and the turn back, these are important telling signs, in not only in our own astrology, but from a general universal standpoint as well. The next planet that is really important when it stations is Jupiter, which is the lucky planet. And Jupiter will only station retrograde and direct one time per year. Jupiter is the planet of abundance. When he's going forward, luck is a little bit lighter, a little bit better. When he's going back, luck kind of turns a little bit. It's not as lucky as it can be. Jupiter is Jupiter is the biggest planet, so his turn is always going to be very important, and what he represents in our chart is going to be important as he stations. Saturn will only retrograde, turn direct once per year. Saturn is the humdrum of the zodiac. He's the one that is heavy. He's challenges. When he's moving back, we're a little bit more challenged than when he's moving forward. We're kind of getting all of our ducks in a row, getting ready for when he turns direct. Uranus will only station retrograde and direct once per year. Uranus is the planet of awakenings, the surprising planet. When he makes his turn, he is shaking us up to kind of awaken and see new things in a new perspective. He really loves to surprise and shock us. So Uranus stations are kind of one of my favorites from a surprising point of view. Neptune, when he stations retrograde and direct, which is only once per year as well, this kind of puts us a little bit in a la-la land because Neptune is the planet that's in the clouds. He has, kind of a la-la, effect to him. He can be very emotional. We tend to get emotional when he makes his turn. The last planet that I want to discuss here at the stations is Pluto. And I do consider Pluto to be a planet. His essence is far too strong to not be. And when he stations, we always are in touch with power versus powerlessness. And that only happens once per year, where he'll go forward and go back. So these are important times to be in touch with how powerful we feel and how powerless we're feeling. More information, check out crystalbeastrology.com, and if you're interested in when these actual stations are happening at any given year, you should check out my horoscopes and sign up to find out how it's personally affecting you and your sign. Thanks guys, I'll be back again soon with more hot topics. Bye-bye.